it's growing. I put stuff up, and I'm holding my mic again because it sounds better. What's up, fans? So you can tell by the video, we're going to be breaking down positions and needs for the Miami Dolphins. Essentially, I'm going to go down each roster spot. Then we're going to talk about who's a restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent. I also can't speak today, and talk about where we need help. It's a lot of places. But I'm going to be doing that because free agency is March 13th. Mark that down on your calendars. That's when the season starts. It's March 13th. So let's get started with this. We're going to start with the offense, obviously. Everyone seems to start with the offense. But we're going to be starting with the offense. I got the depth chart for like literally the last game of the season. So whoever played for the Dolphins the last game of the season. But there's obviously other players that are involved in the scenario that I will also be talking about. But let's start with, wide receivers. Is there a need at wide receiver? Yes.
Here's what I found on the web for me at
I didn't say, hey Siri. Did you at any point, did I say, hey Siri? What the So, wide receivers. There's a need at wide receiver. You can see at the depth chart, we have Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, Danny Amendola, Kenny Stills. I said Amendola. And Leonte Carew. We also have Ford and Bryce Butler. And then there's some other guys that we still have on practice squad. But at wide receiver, Devontae Parker is gone. The dude's gone. I don't care if they brought in the best wide receiver coach ever. Devontae Parker's gone. Dude can't stay healthy. He's not worth the $9.4 million that they would have to keep if they picked up his option, even if they did sign for a contract. He can't stay healthy. So Devontae Parker's gone, which then essentially, if we look at the free agents, the only free agent is Carew. And I also don't see him getting re-signed. So without Parker and without Carew, they're kind of slim at receiver with just Jakeem Grant. Danny Amendola is going to get cut. I see it happening. I think you see him being older, and I honestly see him being cut, especially if they're going in the way that they want to go, and they'll use the cap money. So yeah, they definitely need help at wide receiver. Is it through the draft? Is it through free agency? That's another video all in itself. Right now, I'm just pointing out positions of need, and wide receiver is a definite position of need. Is it a top position of need? Kind of, but we'll see what happens with that one. Now, let's go to offensive line. Now, this offensive line is, if you can see from the last, the last starters we had Tunsil at left tackle, Ted Larson at left guard, Travis Swanson at center, Jesse Davis at right guard, and Juwan James at right tackle. Now, when it comes to free agents, a lot of our offensive linemen are free agents. So, Jesse Davis, Zach Stirrup, Isaac Asiata, Jake Brendel, Wesley Johnson, Travis Swanson, which were the two starting centers we had. Those two are unrestricted free agents. Sam Young is an unrestricted free agent, but everyone else is kind of a restricted free agent, which is Carew. I didn't mention, but Carew is also a restricted free agent. Jake Brendel's a restricted free agent. Jesse Davis, Zach Stirrup, and Isaac Asiata are also restricted free agents. Now, with this offensive line, if they don't re-sign anybody, it's bare. It's bare bones. Bare bones. They would have Laramie Tunsil. Then Sitton would come back, hopefully. You have Kilgore at center. And then it's like, who do you really have left? So this is top. This is top need for the Miami Dolphins is offensive line. I'm not even going to pinpoint which positions, but it's offensive line. We need center help. We need guard help. And then they need to decide what they're going to do with Juwan James. Now, Juwan James did, a while back I posted in a video that Juwan James did say he wants to come back, and especially with Adam Gase being gone, he said it's more likely he could come back because Adam Gase doesn't like offensive linemen. We found that out. Throughout his 3 years, he never focused on offensive linemen, and then when he did, he brought in some old dudes that got hurt, except for you know, Kilgore. So essentially, we're going to need a tackle, a guard, depth, youth, and I would have sit-in being a backup. I would have the youth take over. That's what they're going to do with this rebuild, have the youth take over. Tunsil, and, you know, that's what they need to figure out. So offensive line is, I'm going to say number 2. Now, you might be like, number 2? What the hell is wrong with you? Number 2, our offensive line has sucked since the Unicorns left, man. Offensive line is a dire need, especially if we're going to bring a quarterback in. Why is it number 2? It's number 2 because the quarterback, I don't see them bringing in a top-notch quarterback. So, you know, it's number 2. I'm not saying don't focus on it, but there's number 1. So it's poopy, and I'm going to tell you what P is soon. I'm immature, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we're going to talk about tight ends. Tight ends, when the season ended, it was A.J. Derby, Mike Gesicki, Durham Smythe, and Nick O'Leary. I don't know why Nick O'Leary was 4th on the depth chart on this. This is the Miami Dolphins official depth chart, just so you know. I don't know why Nick O'Leary was 4th. He was 1st. A.J. Derby was never played. And then you have Marquise Gray, right? But when we look at the free agents, whether restricted or unrestricted when it comes to tight ends, AJ Derby is a unrestricted free agent, and Marquise Gray is an unrestricted free agent. So the 2 of those tight ends are unrestricted free agents. Nick O'Leary we already re-signed, and then we have Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe. I would like them to bring back Gray. I know I wasn't going to tell you what I was going to do yet, but just because this one's real easy, because Gray was playing really well before he got hurt. But tight end is also a position of need. Like I said before, there's going to be a lot of positions of need with this team, and tight end is one of them. If we bring in a young quarterback, and if we bring in a quarterback that is going to have to build off this team, he is going to need that comfort blanket and that security blanket in a tight end. And right now, there ain't one. Now we're going to go running back. Now this isn't a position of need. To me personally, running back's not a position of need. Frank Gore, Sonoris Perry, Kellen Balaj, Brandon Bolden, Kenyon Drake. This isn't a position of need. Now, Frank Gore is a free agent, Brandon Bolden's a free agent, and Sonoris Perry are free agents, which then would just leave Kenyon Drake and Kellen Balaj. Now, again, even with those 2, this is the bottom of the list, position of need. I know a lot of people want to bring in Le'Veon Bell, but why you have Kenyon Drake and you have Kellen Balaj? Now, again, I'm going to make a video talking about who we should resign when it comes to our restricted and unrestricted free agents. And then I'm going to make another video about who I would go for in the free agent market. That's not on the team right now. I told you I got a lot of videos planned. But right now, running back is not a top need. Kenyon Drake, Kellen Balaj, and then we could draft a running back in the 5th round. And he'd be another stud. People are you're picking running backs out of thin air, and they just show up and start playing great. It's crazy. It's crazy. But then finally, the last offensive position I'm going to be talking about is quarterback. Everyone wants to know about quarterback. Is this a position of need? No, it's not a position of need. I said it. You got a problem? Like I said it. No, we don't need a quarterback. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Quarterback is a position of need. Is it top 2? Right now, it would be. It would be number 1 for me right now if this draft and this free agency had a top-notch quarterback in it that we could build a team around. But right now, I don't see it. So right now, it's number 3 to me. So you got something. Offensive line, quarterback. But it is a position of need. Like I said, again, the only really position of need I don't see right now is running back. And the whole offense needs help. All of it. And left tackle. But you need backups. So left tackle and quarterback are the only positions in need I don't see. I know a lot of you guys will be like, well, we have sit-in at guard and we have Kilgore at center. I'm not feeling them. I want depth there. So right now, the only position is left tackle and running back. It's not a position in need. So now let's jump our big fat asses over to defense, huh? Defensive line. I'm jumping right into the fire. Right into the fire. I'm jumping. Burning my ass. If you heard that, I just broke my arm. I'm a frail man. I just broke my arm. I need to drink more milk. We're at defensive line. We had Cameron Wake, Gotchow, Spence, Robert Quinn starting defensive line. It wasn't Wasn't good, fellas. It wasn't good. And the backups, Branch, Ziggy Hood, Sylvester Williams, Sylvester Stallone, Charles Harris, and then we got Woodard. We had to pick up Ziggy Hood and Sylvester Williams because Taylor went down, Hayes went down. We got rid of Phillips, which a lot of you guys didn't like, but I didn't mind because he hasn't done shit since leaving Miami. But defensive line. Survey says that's the #1 answer for me. That's the top need for me when it comes to this team's defensive line. God awful defensive line. At least the offensive line, we had games where we were scoring, we were running for over 100 yards, we were doing our thing. Defensive line is just was bad. Cameron Wake couldn't do anything. You know, injuries on injuries. It was bad. Defensive line, bad. Now we're going to take a look at the free agents for the defensive line. There's quite a few free agents. Top that I'm noticing is Cameron Wake and William Hayes. Now they're both old, so 37, 34. I don't know if they're coming back, guys. I don't know if you really like those guys. Sylvester Williams, who was a guy we picked up just for depth. Jonathan Woodard is a restricted free agent, but he also is a free agent. I could see them bringing him back somehow. Again, that's some video in itself. Let's jump to linebackers. Linebackers, Kiko Alonso, Raekwon McMillan, Jerome Baker, and then we had Mike Hall and Stephon Anthony behind them. Linebackers weren't great, but they weren't bad. Raekwon McMillan was slow. He had a hard time, finding the gaps. He had a hard time covering, Jerome Baker was great in coverage, had the great speed on the blitzes, but had a hard time getting off blocks to make tackles in the run game. So linebackers, again, it's not a top need for me. It probably, we do need linebackers. Don't get me wrong. I'm always banging the table to get linebackers. Always need linebackers, especially with how slow McMillan was playing. And, Kiko Alonso, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I know he was our best linebacker. The stats prove it. And gameplay, you watch tape and he wasn't in the right positions. He's always chasing, but he's also always making up for the other two linebackers. He could be a trade bait, Kiko Alonso. This team is going rebuild, so you never know. But linebackers are a definite need. Let's look at free agents. Free agent Stephon Anthony, he's a free agent. That's about it at linebacker. We're pretty good at linebacker when it comes to free agent. Again, that's why it's not that top of a need. Now we got corner. And you see our boy Xavier Howard, Bobby McCain, Torrey McTyer, Cordell Tankersley, and Cornell Armstrong. Cornerback is a position of need. But for me, now, there's the debate for Xavier Howard. Trade him, get the best you can for him now, because if you sign him 3 years, no. Because right now, cornerback isn't a dire need. We need one corner. We have Bobby McCain in slot. We have Xavier Howard. We need one more corner. You get rid of Xavier Howard, the whole team. You need two corners now. So instead of you get rid of a player to add to the needs, which doesn't make sense to me. Like you trade him for a first, now we need a first for a corner, or now we need to replace. It doesn't make sense to me to get rid of Xavier Howard. So corner, there is a need there. We need one more corner opposite Xavier Howard because Bobby McCain, he can't play boundary, and Mika Fitzpatrick needs to stay at safety. That's just where he's going to thrive. Trust me on that. Speaking of that, well, let's see. Before I jump to that, let's see what free agents that we have at corner, and the answer is none. We have no free agents at corner. So corner, again, it's not a dire need. It is a need. We need the opposite of Howard. But jump to safety. We got Rashad Jones, TJ McDonald, Walt Dinkins, Mika Fitzpatrick. Now, Rashad Jones' contract is set up that he's cut. We're going to eat $11 million, but we save in the next 2 years after his contract. TJ McDonald, we wouldn't save, we'd lose about $4 million, save about $1 million if we got rid of TJ McDonald. So the safety position, it isn't a need. We have two good guys, and we have Mika Fitzpatrick. The safety position is all about, who's going, who's staying, if that makes any sense. Because they're both the same type of safety, and Mika is the one who could play free, and we have two strongs. But yeah, that in the whole, and we need just to throw this one out there for you guys, just to, put this one in your brain. We need a punter. Our punter Some games was lights out, dropping it in the fucking coffin, and there's some other games where he was shanking them. So I want to get a new punter, but that's like more of, you know, bringing the body for camp, have them compete, and you take the best punter. But those are the positions and needs that I think. Comment below like usual. Let me know what you guys think are the positions that need. Let me know if you guys think some of the positions I say we don't have a need or we do have a need. I could be wrong. Again, I'm going to be making a video about what I would do with the cutting and signing, and then another video about who I would bring in outside. I got a ton of videos planned, but let me get to your guys' comment for comment of the day. Okay? All right? Okay. This comment comes from Bodswell35. And he asks me, is it possible that you would consider Kyla Marie to be best player available if they're at 13? Now, K-Flex made a great video about this, talking about his thoughts on Kyla Marie, because at one point me and him were both very high on Kyla Marie. But he made a great video about this, and I'm just going to touch upon it because this is a very good comment. Kyla Marie, I don't know if you guys have seen the interview where they were asking him questions about, like, are you playing baseball? Are you playing football? You know, what are you doing? Are you going to the combine? Which he is going to the combine, but it doesn't mean he's going to throw or not. But they were asking him all these questions, like, you know, this or that. You know, what are you doing? And he was like, and he kept like looking over at his dad, like, he doesn't know if he's playing baseball or not. And I feel like what he's going to be doing is, if he doesn't want to get drafted to your team, he's going to tell you, if you draft me, I'm playing baseball. And if he wants to get drafted to your team, he won't say that, and he'll play baseball he'll play football for you. But I don't like the wish-washiness. I don't like him not having his heart and his, like, everything into football. I don't like that. So if Kyla Murray's there at 13, I don't know if I take him. I think if how about this? Kyla Murray's there at 13 because a lot of people are really jumping off that ship with his whole interview and how he's so wish-washy about football and baseball. If Kyla Murray's there at 13, I trade down, because I guarantee you he'll still be there when we trade down and wherever position we're at, because he is going to fall out of the first. Maybe late first, but I don't see him going top 10, top 15. I could be wrong. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm wrong most of the time. But that's what I would do. But anyway, that's the video. If you guys, like I said, if you guys notice, I started adding some things back here. The flag's up there, out of frame, but I'm adding stuff behind me. That little jersey is actually autographed, and this thing right here, this little frame up here, that's actually Marino's autograph. I have 2 of Marino's autographs. When it's done, let me know if you guys would like me to give you a tour of the Dolphins corner. I'll give you a tour of all the cool stuff I got going on the Dolphins corner. But that's the video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I know a lot of you guys don't have a Twitter, which if you don't feel like you need to make one to follow me, but if you do, it's greatly appreciated. But follow me on Twitter. I tweet out a ton of things, especially articles and stuff. As soon as I find it, I tweet it. Also, I ask for questions on Twitter, which I think my next video might come from Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, start asking me questions. You might get in the video. Follow my second channel, The Bit Boys. Resident Evil, terrifying game. We've been playing it. We're going to be playing Kingdom Hearts. Again, share that channel. Share this channel. You can hit that little share button down here, and you can share it on your Twitter, your Facebooks, everywhere. Share this channel. Let's get this sucker growing. But be sure to give this video a thumbs up, because the roller coaster of off season has started. We started taking up. Once March 13th hits, whoosh, we're right into it, right into free agency, then the draft. There's a period before that, I think in about a week, that we could start signing our restricted free agents and unrestricted free agents. I think it's like next week or something, like the 15th of February. So we can start doing that stuff. So I got a ton of stuff for you. I got a ton of videos for you. So like usual, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But I will see you guys probably Monday or Tuesday with my video about, I think I'm going to do, you know, what I would do with the roster, who I'd resign, who I'd let go, who I would cut. But that video should be coming out Monday or Tuesday next week. But other than that, fellas, like usual, stay classy and fins up.